Care and Rehabilitation Expo China 2025. Part 1. Opening context and background. Approximately 10 to 12 minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Today, we embark on an in-depth journey into one of the most significant global events in the field of healthcare, rehabilitation, and assistive technology, the Care and Rehabilitation Expo China 2025, also known as Crossing Expo 2025. Held in Beijing from September 12 to 14, 2025, this expo is far more than a trade fair. It is a visionary platform, a convergence of innovation, policy, and human need, one that addresses the urgent challenges posed by an aging society, increasing disability inclusion, and the demand for better care solutions worldwide. Now, why does Crossing Expo matter? Why should policymakers, healthcare professionals, investors, and even everyday citizens pay attention to an event like this? The answer lies in its scale, impact, and mission. CR Expo is not just China's largest and most authoritative event on assistive devices and rehabilitation. It is also the only expo of its kind organized at the national level, backed by the China Disabled Persons Federation, making it an event that carries not just business significance, but deep social and policy weight. Picture this. The venue is the China National Convention Center in Beijing, a modern landmark located in Chaoyang District, not far from the Olympic Green. Over 25,000 square meters of exhibition space are filled with innovations, robotic exoskeletons that help people walk, smart guide devices for the blind, advanced prosthetics, and barrier-free home solutions that redefine independence. More than 400 exhibitors, from both China and abroad, gather here. And an expected 50,000 professional visitors, from doctors and rehabilitation experts, to government officials, investors, NGOs, and even end users, walk through the expo doors. The atmosphere is a mix of innovation and urgency. Because this isn't just about new gadgets, it's about solving real problems. How do we make elderly care more sustainable? How do we give people with disabilities not just tools, but dignity and independence? And how can technology bridge the widening gap between demand for care and the available resources in society? Why Beijing? Why now? Choosing Beijing as the host city isn't accidental. China is facing some of the most dramatic demographic shifts in the world. By 2035, 1 in 3 Chinese citizens will be over the age of 60. At the same time, tens of millions of people live with disabilities, physical, cognitive, or sensory. This reality demands solutions, and it demands them fast. CR Expo 2025 stands at the heart of that challenge. From my observation, what makes this expo remarkable is not just the showcase of cutting-edge technology, but the strategic timing. We are at a moment in history when the intersection of technology, healthcare, and human rights has never been more critical. The expo answers that call by bringing together stakeholders across industries and across borders. My consideration, beyond a trade show. Now, as I reflect on this event, I want to emphasize something important. CR Expo is not just a marketplace. It is also a statement of values. By highlighting accessibility and rehabilitation on a national and global stage, China is sending a signal that disability inclusion, elderly care, and rehabilitation are not marginal issues, but core priorities for the future of society. I find this deeply significant, because when governments, industries, and communities come together at this scale, they create ripple effects. They shape policy, influence industry standards, and, most importantly, transform lives. Think about it this way. Every wheelchair, every prosthetic, every piece of rehabilitation equipment is not just a product, it is a bridge between limitation and possibility. CR Expo 2025 is about building those bridges. Transition to next section. So, with this background set, we now understand why Crossing Expo 2025 is a landmark event. But how did it reach this level of prominence? What is the journey that took it from a modest beginning to becoming China's flagship rehabilitation and assistive technology expo? In the next chapter, we'll explore the history and evolution of Crossing Expo, tracing its roots from 2007, through 16 successful editions, to the powerful platform it has become in 2025. Part 2. History and Evolution of Crossing Expo, 2007 to 2025. To understand the significance of Crossing Expo 2025, we need to step back in time, almost 2 decades, to trace the journey of this extraordinary event. The Care and Rehabilitation Expo, known today as Crossing Expo, began in 2007. At that time, China's awareness of rehabilitation and assistive technologies was growing, but the industry itself was still relatively small. Rehabilitation centers were limited, elderly care was fragmented, and assistive devices were often imported, expensive, and inaccessible to many who needed them most. Against this backdrop, the China Disabled Persons Federation, CDPF, and allied organizations saw a need to create a platform that could bring together manufacturers, healthcare providers, researchers, policymakers, and users. The vision was simple yet ambitious: to build an ecosystem of care and rehabilitation. The early years, 2007 to 2012, in its first editions, the expo was modest compared to what we see today. Smaller venues, fewer exhibitors, and limited international presence. Yet, it was groundbreaking for one key reason: it was the first national-level expo entirely focused on disability, rehabilitation, and elderly care. In those early years, the expo mainly showcased basic mobility aids, wheelchairs, crutches, walkers, as well as prosthetics and orthotics. For many visitors, it was their first exposure to specialized assistive devices. From my perspective, these formative years were about building awareness. The expo was not yet the massive business platform it has become. Instead, it served as a catalyst for conversation, raising the profile of disability issues in China and encouraging local manufacturers to enter the field. Growth and expansion, 2013 to 2017. As China's economy expanded and healthcare reforms deepened, CR Expo grew alongside it. By the mid-2010s, the expo had become a much larger event. It began attracting hundreds of domestic exhibitors and, crucially, international participation. Companies from Japan, Germany, Canada, and South Korea started to attend, bringing with them advanced technologies like robotic rehabilitation systems, electric wheelchairs, and hearing aids. During this period, one of the biggest shifts was the focus on rehabilitation medicine. The expo was no longer just about products, it was about services, training, and facilities. Hospitals and rehabilitation centers were becoming key stakeholders. From my observation, this phase marked Crossing Expo's transformation from a showroom into a knowledge hub. The addition of professional forums, panel discussions, and academic exchanges allowed the expo to influence not only the marketplace but also policy and professional practice. By 2018, CR Expo had firmly established itself as China's flagship event for assistive technology and rehabilitation. It was now held annually in Beijing's China National Convention Center, one of the country's most prestigious venues for international events. Exhibition space expanded to tens of thousands of square meters, accommodating hundreds of exhibitors and tens of thousands of visitors. But what really defined this period was the rise of smart technology. Suddenly, CR Expo was showcasing eye-powered hearing devices, robotic exoskeletons, smart home adaptations, and advanced prosthetics. To me, this was the turning point. CR Expo was no longer catching up with global trends, it was setting them. The expo had become a launchpad where companies debuted their latest innovations, from eye-driven mobility aids to sensor-based rehabilitation systems. Resilience during global challenges, 2020-2021, the global COVID-19 pandemic posed immense challenges. For expos worldwide, 2020 and 2021 were years of disruption. Yet, CR Expo demonstrated resilience. While some international participation was reduced, the expo continued in hybrid forms, combining physical exhibitions with digital engagement. This adaptation ensured that the conversation around disability and rehabilitation did not stop. In fact, the pandemic highlighted their importance even more. My opinion here is clear. CR Expo's persistence during this time underscored its institutional strength. When the world was forced to pause, the expo kept moving forward, ensuring that vulnerable populations, the elderly and disabled, remained part of the healthcare conversation. The modern era, 2022 to 2025, fast forward to the 2020s, and CR Expo is now in its 17th edition. By 2025, it is widely recognized as China's largest and most authoritative national expo in this field. Each year, the scale has grown, exhibition areas of 25,000 square meters. Over 400 exhibitors from more than 17 countries. Tens of thousands of visitors, from healthcare professionals to investors and policymakers. And importantly, dozens of concurrent forums and international dialogues on policy, accessibility, and technology. But what sets 2025 apart is the focus on breakthroughs. Over 80 companies are launching brand new technologies this year, including robotic guide systems for the blind, AI-powered rehabilitation tools, and smart prosthetics. Looking back from 2007 to 2025, the transformation is extraordinary. What started as a small national fair has become a global platform for innovation, policy, and social change. My reflection on this journey. As I reflect on this history, a few observations stand out. 1. Institutional backing matters. The role of the China Disabled Persons Federation has been crucial. Without national-level support, CR Expo might have remained a small trade show. Instead, it became a flagship event. 2. Globalization has elevated the expo. The involvement of international exhibitors has not only raised the quality of showcased products but also enabled cross-border collaboration. 3. Technology is the driving force. From wheelchairs to exoskeletons, the evolution of Crossing Expo mirrors the evolution of assistive technology itself, moving from mechanical solutions to intelligent digital ecosystems. 4. CR Expo has become a symbol. Beyond commerce, it symbolizes society's shift toward recognizing the rights, dignity, and independence of people with disabilities and the elderly. In short, the Expo's journey reflects a wider social transformation, one that acknowledges that rehabilitation and elderly care are not luxuries, but essentials of a humane and modern society. Transition to next section. Now that we've traced the history of Crossing Expo, it's time to zoom in on the present. Just how big is Crossing Expo 2025? What are the numbers, the scale, and the scope of this event? In the next part, we'll explore the key figures and scale of Crossing Expo 2025, examining what those numbers mean, not just in size, but in social and economic impact. Part 3. Scale, Scope and Key Figures of Crossing Expo 2025. Having looked back at the history of Crossing Expo, we now arrive at its present reality in 2025, a moment that demonstrates just how far this event has come. CR Expo 2025, held at the China National Convention Center in Beijing, is not just another exhibition. It is the largest, most authoritative national expo in China dedicated to elderly care, rehabilitation, and assistive devices. The scale is massive, and the numbers speak for themselves. Exhibition scale. This year, the expo covers a staggering 25,000 square meters of exhibition space. To give you a visual, that's equivalent to almost 4 full-sized football fields filled with booths, demonstrations, and interactive zones. Across this vast space, visitors will find a comprehensive showcase of products and services, from assistive mobility devices and smart rehabilitation systems, to nursing solutions, prosthetics, and AI-driven health technologies. What's particularly striking is how diverse the exhibitors are. In 2025, there are over 400 exhibitors, representing not only leading domestic companies but also international innovators from more than 17 countries, including Japan, Germany, the US, and Canada. This reflects the truly global dimension of Crossing Expo today. Visitor engagement. Equally impressive is the scale of visitor participation. In 2025, the expo is expected to welcome tens of thousands of visitors across its 3-day span. These visitors represent a wide spectrum of stakeholders: healthcare professionals, doctors, nurses, rehabilitation specialists, government officials and policymakers, seeking to align technology with social policy, investors and entrepreneurs, scouting for the next big opportunity in health tech, academics and researchers, looking to exchange ideas on the future of rehabilitation science, and importantly, end users themselves, elderly individuals, people with disabilities, and their families, who can directly test and experience these technologies. Right finger my observation. This direct interaction between manufacturers and users is one of the unique strengths of Crossing Expo. Unlike some purely commercial expos, CR Expo encourages real-life testing and feedback loops, ensuring that products are not only advanced but also usable and human-centered. Product categories. To grasp the scope of Crossing Expo 2025, we should consider the product categories it covers. The range is truly comprehensive, including mobility aids, wheelchairs, walking sticks, powered scooters, and exoskeletons. Rehabilitation equipment, robotic trainers, balance and gait analysis systems, and virtual reality therapy tools. Assistive devices for daily living, from smart hearing aids to vision support systems. Nursing and elderly care solutions, hospital beds, patient lifts, smart monitoring devices. Medical and health management technologies, wearable devices, AI diagnostics, and remote health systems. In essence, CR Expo is not just about one niche. It is a 360-degree showcase of technologies and services that cover the entire spectrum of life, health, and independence. Forums and conferences. But Crossing Expo 2025 is not only about products. It is also a powerful knowledge-sharing platform. Alongside the exhibition floor, there are dozens of forums, panels, and international dialogues. Topics range from policy frameworks for elderly care and disability inclusion, standardization of assistive technologies, global collaboration in rehabilitation research, digital health and the role of AI in accessibility. These sessions bring together policymakers, academics, and industry leaders, making Crossing Expo a hub of thought leadership as much as a marketplace. Right finger my opinion here. This combination of market plus policy plus research is what gives Crossing Expo its unique authority. It is not just an expo, it is a strategic platform where the future of disability inclusion and elderly care is being shaped. International dimension. One of the most defining features of Crossing Expo 2025 is its international reach. With over 17 countries represented, the expo has become a global exchange hub. International exhibitors not only display cutting-edge technologies, but they also engage in cross-border partnerships. Memorandums of understanding are signed, joint ventures are initiated, and collaborative research projects are launched. From my perspective, this global participation ensures that Crossing Expo is not an isolated national event. Instead, it positions China as a key player in the global rehabilitation industry, both as a consumer and as an innovator. Key highlights of 2025. So what makes 2025 particularly special? Let's highlight a few defining features. 1. Over 80 companies are launching brand new technologies at this year's expo, a record-breaking number. 2. The focus is heavily on AI, robotics, and digital health, signaling a new era of smart rehabilitation. 3. International cooperation forums are larger than ever, with policy experts and innovators from across Asia, Europe, and North America. 4. For the first time, the expo has set up special interactive zones where users can try robotic exoskeletons, AI-powered prosthetics, and VR rehabilitation therapy in real time. Right finger my take. These interactive demonstrations are not just marketing tools. They empower users to imagine possibilities and give feedback directly to companies. This co-creation approach is shaping the next generation of assistive technologies. Social and economic significance. Beyond the numbers, the scale of Crossing Expo 2025 carries profound social and economic implications. Economically, the rehabilitation and assistive technology industry is projected to become a multi-billion-dollar market in China over the next decade, driven by an aging population and increased investment in health technology. Socially, the expo reflects a cultural shift. It shows that disability and aging are no longer hidden issues, they are mainstream conversations. CR Expo is helping to normalize discussions around accessibility, independence, and dignity. From my perspective, this is the expo's greatest achievement. It's not just selling products, it is reshaping social attitudes and placing rehabilitation at the heart of public policy. Transition to next section. As we can see, the scale and scope of Crossing Expo 2025 are unprecedented. But numbers and size are only part of the story. The real heartbeat of the expo lies in the technologies themselves, the groundbreaking innovations that are redefining what it means to live with independence, dignity, and hope. In the next section, we'll take a deep dive into the key technologies and innovations showcased at Crossing Expo 2025. From robotic exoskeletons to AI-powered rehabilitation tools, and how they are changing lives today and tomorrow. Part 4. Technologies and innovations showcased at Crossing Expo 2025. At the heart of Crossing Expo 2025 lies its greatest attraction: the technologies and innovations that redefine what is possible in elderly care, rehabilitation, and assistive living. This year, the spotlight is brighter than ever, with over 80 companies unveiling new products. These are not incremental updates, they represent real breakthroughs in independence, dignity, and accessibility. Robotics and exoskeletons. One of the most exciting categories showcased this year is robotic exoskeletons. Companies from China, Japan, and Germany are presenting advanced exoskeletons designed to help people with spinal cord injuries or stroke regain mobility. These devices, powered by sensors and AI, support the body's natural motion, allowing users to stand, walk, and even climb stairs. What's remarkable is how far the technology has advanced. Early exoskeletons were bulky, heavy, and prohibitively expensive. But at Crossing Expo 2025, we are seeing lighter, more affordable, and user-friendly models. Some are even designed for home use, rather than just clinical settings. Right finger my observation. This shift from hospitals to homes is a game-changer. It means mobility restoration is no longer confined to specialized centers. Instead, independence can be experienced daily, in one's own living room, on one's own terms. Another highlight is the explosion of AI-driven rehabilitation systems. These are intelligent platforms that combine robotics, motion sensors, and data analytics to personalize recovery programs for patients. For example, stroke patients can use AI-guided upper limb trainers that adjust resistance and movement patterns based on progress. Virtual reality is also being integrated, turning rehabilitation exercises into engaging, interactive experiences. One system even uses machine learning algorithms to predict recovery timelines, helping doctors and families plan better. Right finger my view. This reflects a broader transformation in healthcare, moving from generalized therapy to personalized rehabilitation. Instead of one-size-fits-all, these systems adapt to each patient's unique needs, maximizing recovery outcomes. Smart prosthetics and bionics. Crossing Expo 2025 also shines a spotlight on next-generation prosthetics. We are seeing AI-integrated prosthetic limbs that can interpret nerve signals and respond almost like natural limbs. Some prosthetic hands showcased this year allow users to perform fine motor tasks like typing on a keyboard, holding a pen, or even playing a musical instrument. There is also growing innovation in affordable prosthetics. Chinese startups are presenting low-cost, 3D printed prosthetic limbs that bring functionality to communities that previously had little access. Right finger my opinion. This dual-track, high-end bionics and affordable accessibility is essential. It ensures that technology doesn't just serve the elite few but also reaches the millions of ordinary people who need it most. Assistive mobility devices. Mobility remains one of the core focuses of Crossing Expo, and 2025 has plenty to showcase. We're seeing next-gen powered wheelchairs with smart navigation, voice control, and obstacle detection. Some are integrated with GPS mapping systems, enabling users to move around urban environments more confidently. In addition, there are lightweight foldable scooters, making travel easier for elderly populations. These are designed with portability in mind, catering to active seniors who want to maintain independence. Right finger my reflection. What's impressive here is how mobility devices are being reimagined not just as tools of necessity but as tools of lifestyle and empowerment. They are designed to give people freedom, not just function. Hearing and vision technologies. Crossing Expo 2025 also presents breakthroughs in sensory assistive technologies. Hearing aids are becoming smarter, smaller, and more connected. Some use AI algorithms to filter background noise and focus on human voices, a major improvement for crowded environments. For the visually impaired, companies are demonstrating AI-powered guide systems. One system uses wearable cameras and real-time object recognition to help users navigate safely. Others combine voice prompts with haptic feedback, giving blind individuals greater confidence in movement. Right finger my observation. These technologies are more than medical devices, they are social equalizers. By breaking barriers to communication and navigation, they enable fuller participation in work, education, and society. Smart elderly care solutions. With China's rapidly aging population, elderly care solutions are central to Crossing Expo 2025. We are seeing smart hospital beds that automatically adjust posture to prevent bed sores, wearable fall detectors that alert caregivers instantly, and remote monitoring systems that allow families to track vital signs of elderly relatives in real time. Perhaps most striking are the AI-powered companion robots. These are not science fiction anymore. Some can hold simple conversations, remind seniors to take medication, and even detect emotional states through facial recognition. Right finger my take. While these robots will never replace human companionship, they can provide much-needed support in societies where family structures are changing and caregiver shortages are real. Digital health and remote care. One of the strongest themes at Crossing Expo 2025 is digital health. Tele-rehabilitation platforms are enabling patients in rural areas to connect with specialists in Beijing or Shanghai. Wearable health trackers feed data directly into hospital systems, allowing continuous monitoring without repeated clinic visits. For elderly users, apps integrated with AI coaches provide personalized exercise routines, diet guidance, and reminders, essentially acting as digital caregivers. Right finger my reflection. This is a critical development for countries like China, where healthcare demand is high and resources are unevenly distributed. Digital solutions bridge the urban-rural divide and bring quality care closer to home. Interactive experience zones. What sets Crossing Expo apart from many exhibitions is its emphasis on hands-on interaction. In 2025, entire areas are dedicated to demo zones, where visitors can test exoskeletons, trial smart prosthetics, or participate in VR rehabilitation exercises. For many attendees, especially end users, this is the first time they can see, touch, and experience these innovations. Feedback collected here often influences the next generation of product design. Right finger my view. This makes Crossing Expo not just a marketplace but a living laboratory where innovation and user needs meet in real time. The bigger picture. Taken together, the technologies at Crossing Expo 2025 tell a story. A story of healthcare shifting from reactive treatment to proactive, personalized, and tech-driven solutions. Robotics is restoring independence. AI is personalizing therapy. Smart prosthetics are redefining human potential. Digital health is breaking geographic barriers. And elderly care is being reimagined for dignity and safety. Right finger my opinion. These are not just gadgets. They represent a cultural shift, a recognition that disability and aging are not limitations, but challenges that can be met with innovation, compassion, and design. Transition to next section. Having explored the groundbreaking technologies at Crossing Expo 2025, we now turn to another crucial aspect, the international collaboration and global influence of the Expo. Because this event is not just about China, it's about how the world comes together to share knowledge, build partnerships, and create a future where care and rehabilitation know no borders. Part 5. International Collaboration and Global Influence of Crossing Expo 2025. While Crossing Expo 2025 is held in Beijing, its reach goes far beyond China. This is not a local or regional fair. It is a global stage where nations, companies, and organizations come together to shape the future of rehabilitation and elderly care worldwide. The scale of international participation. This year, exhibitors from over 17 countries are present. From Germany and Japan to Canada and South Korea, from Russia to the United States, global companies are showcasing their best innovations alongside Chinese firms. What's impressive is the diversity. Germany brings world-class prosthetic technology. Japan introduces advanced elderly care robots. Canada highlights accessibility standards and barrier-free design. South Korea contributes innovations in the silver economy. Right finger my observation. This mix of cultures and technologies makes Crossing Expo 2025 not just a trade fair, but a melting pot of global expertise. Policy dialogues with international scope. Beyond the products, CR Expo 2025 also serves as a forum for international policy dialogue. This year's highlights include the launch of the Chinese edition of the Global Report on Assistive Technology, a joint effort with the World Health Organization. The China-Canada Accessibility Development Forum, where both nations exchange lessons on accessible cities and inclusive policies. The China-Korea Silver Economy Exchange Conference, focusing on business opportunities and aging society solutions. Right finger my opinion. These sessions remind us that disability, aging, and rehabilitation are not confined by borders. They are universal human experiences. Collaboration ensures that no country has to reinvent the wheel in isolation. Technology transfer and best practices. One of the most powerful outcomes of international collaboration is technology transfer. For example, German expertise in prosthetics is being adapted to China's large population, while Chinese companies are exporting cost-effective solutions to developing nations. Japanese caregiving robots inspire Chinese startups, while Canadian models of inclusive urban design influence city planning in Beijing and Shanghai. Right finger my reflection. This cross-pollination accelerates progress. Instead of working in silos, countries build upon each other's strengths. In a field as urgent as rehabilitation, this shared momentum can save years, even decades, of trial and error. Building global standards. A key theme of Crossing Expo 2025 is standardization. Assistive technologies must meet safety, reliability, and usability standards. With so many countries represented, there is growing discussion about aligning Chinese standards with international frameworks, such as ISO certifications and WHO guidelines. Right finger my observation. Standardization is not just bureaucracy. It is the backbone of trust and adoption. When devices meet global standards, they can be sold, distributed, and funded across borders more easily, benefiting more people. Global business matchmaking. The Expo also doubles as a global marketplace. Buyer-supplier matchmaking sessions connect Chinese hospitals with German prosthetic firms, Korean robotics companies with Chinese distributors, and Canadian accessibility firms with Asian developers. These partnerships often go beyond business. They become long-term collaborations that influence research, design, and healthcare delivery models. Right finger my take. In today's world, the healthcare market is deeply globalized. CR Expo 2025 acts as a bridge between East and West, between innovation hubs and emerging markets. Addressing global challenges together, the importance of global collaboration cannot be overstated. The challenges we face, aging populations, rising disability rates, limited caregiver resources, are shared worldwide. By pooling knowledge, countries can develop affordable solutions for low-income regions, share data on rehabilitation outcomes, co-create devices that work in different cultural contexts. Right finger my opinion. This shared responsibility reflects a deeper truth, that inclusion is a global value. The dignity and independence of people with disabilities is not a matter of charity, it is a matter of human rights. Soft power and diplomacy. On a broader scale, CR Expo 2025 also plays a role in soft power and diplomacy. China, by hosting such a large, inclusive, and international expo, positions itself as a leader in global health and rehabilitation innovation. It signals a commitment not just to domestic needs but to international cooperation. Right finger my reflection. In many ways, expos like this are as important as political summits. They build trust, foster partnerships, and demonstrate how nations can work together in areas that affect millions of lives. Benefits for developing nations. Another vital dimension of Crossing Expo 2025 is its impact on developing countries. Many of the world's disabled and elderly populations live in regions where resources are limited. For them, imported high-tech devices may be unaffordable. Chinese firms, with their ability to produce at scale and lower cost, may help bridge this gap. Already, some assistive devices showcased here are being adapted for African, South Asian, and Latin American markets. Right finger my opinion. If this trend continues, CR Expo could become not just a hub of innovation but a lifeline for accessibility in the global south. Cultural exchange and awareness. International collaboration at Crossing Expo is not only about products and policies. It is also about culture and awareness. When visitors from different countries interact with Chinese caregivers, NGOs, or patients, they gain insight into the lived realities of disability in China. Similarly, Chinese stakeholders learn from how other nations approach inclusion, accessibility, and dignity. Right finger my view. This cultural dialogue is invaluable. Because at the end of the day, technology alone cannot build inclusion. Human understanding must guide innovation. The bigger picture. Taken together, the international dimension of Crossing Expo 2025 shows us a bigger picture. It is a marketplace where businesses find partners. It is a forum where policies are shaped. It is a laboratory where best practices are exchanged. And it is a bridge that connects nations in pursuit of a more inclusive world. Right finger my opinion. If Crossing Expo 2025 succeeds, and all signs suggest it will, its influence will extend far beyond Beijing. It will shape how countries design cities, how hospitals deliver rehabilitation, and how societies treat their elderly and disabled citizens. Transition to next section. Having explored the global significance of Crossing Expo 2025, we now turn to something equally important, the impact on individuals and communities. Because beyond the technology and the diplomacy, the ultimate measure of success is simple. Does this expo improve lives? Part 6. Impact on individuals and communities. At its core, CR Expo 2025 is not just about technology, business, or policy. Its ultimate purpose is far more human, to improve lives. The expo's impact can be measured by how it changes the daily experiences of individuals and communities, the patients seeking independence, the families providing care, and the societies striving for inclusion. Empowering persons with disabilities. For millions of people with disabilities in China and beyond, the innovations presented at Crossing Expo 2025 represent new possibilities. Imagine a young man with a spinal cord injury who can now use a robotic exoskeleton to walk again. Or a woman who lost her arm and can now regain fine motor skills through an AI-powered prosthetic. Or a visually impaired student who can attend university more confidently thanks to smart glasses that read text aloud in real time. Right finger my observation. These are not abstract technologies, they are tools of dignity, independence, and hope. Every device showcased here has the potential to restore something that was once lost. Supporting families and caregivers. The impact also extends to families and caregivers. In many cultures, including China's, families bear the primary responsibility for caring for elderly or disabled relatives. New devices showcased at Crossing Expo, from automated nursing beds to remote monitoring apps, ease this burden. They reduce physical strain, save time, and provide reassurance that loved ones are safe. For example, a caregiver who once had to stay awake all night checking on a parent with dementia can now rely on a fall detection system that sends instant alerts. Right finger my reflection. This reduces stress and burnout, giving caregivers not only practical support but also emotional relief. Transforming communities through accessibility. The expo also highlights solutions that transform entire communities. Barrier-free infrastructure, smart elevators, and accessible transport systems showcased here will shape how cities are built. As these solutions are adopted, more people with disabilities and elderly citizens will be able to move freely, work, socialize, and contribute to society. Right finger my opinion. Accessibility benefits everyone. A ramp built for wheelchair users also helps parents with strollers. An elevator in a public building benefits not only the elderly but anyone carrying heavy loads. CR Expo reminds us that inclusion creates universal advantages. Raising awareness and reducing stigma. Another impact of Crossing Expo 2025 is awareness. By bringing together thousands of visitors, doctors, policymakers, students, and ordinary citizens, the expo shines a spotlight on disability and aging. It makes visible the challenges that are often hidden in private homes or hospital wards. Right finger my view. Visibility reduces stigma. When society sees advanced prosthetics, smart wheelchairs, or companion robots in action, it begins to view disability not as a limitation but as a condition that technology and compassion can address. This shift in perception is as important as the technology itself. Improving access to healthcare. Through its focus on rehabilitation and assistive devices, CR Expo 2025 also contributes to better healthcare access. For rural patients who may not have access to rehabilitation centers, digital health platforms showcased here provide remote therapy sessions. For elderly individuals living alone, telehealth monitoring ensures that medical issues are detected early. Right finger my reflection. These tools close the gap between urban and rural, rich and poor. They bring healthcare closer to the people who need it most. Economic empowerment and employment. The expo's impact also includes economic empowerment. Assistive devices like advanced prosthetics and adaptive communication tools enable people with disabilities to re-enter the workforce. This not only improves individual livelihoods but also reduces dependency and enriches the economy. On the flip side, the growing industry around rehabilitation and elderly care creates new jobs, from device technicians and therapists to accessibility designers and caregivers. Right finger my opinion. CR Expo demonstrates that inclusion is not just a social good, it is an economic strategy. A more inclusive society is also a more productive one, inspiring the next generation. Among the thousands of visitors to Crossing Expo are students, medical students, engineering students, design students. For them, seeing cutting-edge technologies firsthand is a source of inspiration. A student who tries out a robotic exoskeleton today may decide to dedicate their career to developing better mobility aids. A young designer who sees a barrier-free smart home may choose to focus on universal design. Right finger my observation. The expo plants seeds for the future. Its true legacy may be found in the next generation of innovators inspired by what they see here. Strengthening social inclusion. The social impact of Crossing Expo 2025 is also profound. By promoting accessibility and assistive technology, it helps integrate persons with disabilities and elderly individuals more fully into society. They are no longer isolated at home or dependent solely on others. Instead, they can engage in education, employment, and community life. Right finger my view. Inclusion is not just about physical tools. It is about belonging. CR Expo contributes to a vision where people with disabilities and older adults are recognized not as burdens but as valued members of society. Real-life stories and testimonials. One of the most moving aspects of Crossing Expo are the personal stories. At the exhibition, visitors often meet people who demonstrate how assistive devices changed their lives. A man who lost both legs in an accident showing how he now runs marathons with prosthetics. A grandmother explaining how a simple adjustable bed allows her to live at home instead of a care facility. Right finger my opinion. These stories remind us that behind every product, there is a person. And behind every innovation, there is a story of resilience, courage, and transformation. The ripple effect on society. The changes sparked by Crossing Expo 2025 do not stop at individuals. They ripple outward. A disabled student who gains access to education contributes knowledge back to society. An elderly person who remains healthy and active continues to enrich family and community life. A caregiver relieved of constant stress can rejoin the workforce or improve their own well-being. Right finger my reflection. The impact compounds. What begins with a device or a solution grows into social strength. The bigger picture. Taken together, the individual and community impacts of Crossing Expo 2025 reveal a powerful truth. This expo is not just about products on display. It is about human lives transformed. Disabilities become opportunities for adaptation. Aging becomes a stage of dignity, not decline. Caregiving becomes sustainable, not overwhelming. Communities become inclusive, not exclusive. Right finger my opinion. CR Expo 2025 shows us that technology, when guided by compassion, has the power to build societies that are healthier, fairer, and more humane. Transition to next section. As we reflect on the human impact, our next step is to consider the challenges and limitations that remain. Because while Crossing Expo 2025 offers hope, it also raises difficult questions about affordability, accessibility, and sustainability. In our next section, we will explore these challenges and what must be done to overcome them. Part 7. Challenges and Limitations. Crossing Expo 2025 has shown us the incredible potential of technology and collaboration to transform care and rehabilitation. But as with any ambitious vision, the path forward is not without obstacles. For every breakthrough device or policy announced, there are questions of accessibility, affordability, equity, and sustainability. To truly understand the impact of Crossing Expo, we must also confront these challenges head-on. Affordability and cost barriers. One of the most pressing challenges is cost. While robotic exoskeletons, AI prosthetics, and smart rehabilitation systems are awe-inspiring, many of them come with high price tags. For ordinary families, especially in rural or low-income areas, these devices remain out of reach. Right finger my observation. Innovation without accessibility risks deepening inequality. If only the wealthy can access advanced rehabilitation, we risk creating a two-tiered system of care, one for the privileged, another for the rest. Unequal access between urban and rural areas. Another limitation lies in geographical disparity. China's major cities like Beijing, Shanghai, and Shenzhen are hubs of innovation, where hospitals and rehabilitation centers are well equipped. But in rural provinces, access to basic rehabilitation services is still limited. Even when devices exist, the lack of infrastructure, trained personnel, and awareness creates barriers. Right finger my reflection. A wheelchair that can climb stairs is useless in a village with unpaved roads. Technology must be matched with local adaptation and infrastructure development. Integration into healthcare systems. A third challenge is how to integrate these technologies into existing healthcare systems. Doctors and therapists need training to use new devices effectively. Hospitals need funding to purchase and maintain advanced equipment. Insurance systems need to determine what will be reimbursed and what will not. Right finger my view. Without systemic integration, even the best technologies showcased at Crossing Expo may remain exhibition models, admired in Beijing but rarely seen in everyday hospitals or homes. Cultural and social barriers. Technology alone cannot solve cultural barriers. In many societies, including parts of China, disability still carries stigma. Some families may hesitate to use assistive devices, fearing judgment or discrimination. Others may feel shame in seeking rehabilitation services for aging parents, believing it reflects poorly on family responsibility. Right finger my opinion. Overcoming stigma requires more than devices. It requires public education, cultural change, and empathy. CR Expo sparks awareness, but sustained effort is needed to shift social attitudes. Technological limitations. Even the most advanced innovations showcased at Crossing Expo are not perfect. Robotic exoskeletons are still heavy and require significant energy. AI-powered prosthetics may face glitches or limited adaptability. Smart home systems depend on stable internet connections, which may not always be available. Right finger my reflection. The danger is in assuming that technology is a magic solution. Real-world conditions expose weaknesses that exhibitions cannot fully reveal. Sustainability and maintenance. Another overlooked challenge is maintenance. A rehabilitation robot or smart wheelchair is only as useful as its upkeep. Without proper servicing, spare parts, and technical support, devices may quickly become unusable. Right finger my observation. Sustainability requires not only invention but also logistics and aftercare. A device that breaks down after 6 months without support is worse than no device at all. Policy and regulatory hurdles. Crossing Expo also reveals challenges in policy and regulation. Medical devices must undergo strict approvals to ensure safety. While necessary, these processes can slow down the adoption of new innovations. Meanwhile, differing regulations across regions can create barriers for companies trying to scale up. Right finger my view. Striking a balance between safety and speed is critical. Too much delay stifles innovation, too little oversight risks harm. Inequality on a global scale. Looking beyond China, there are also global inequalities. We must ask, will the technologies displayed at Crossing Expo be available in low and middle income countries? Or will they remain concentrated in wealthier markets? Right finger my opinion. Rehabilitation and care should not be privileges of the rich. They are human rights. If global disparities persist, CR Expo's achievements may be seen as a symbol of progress for some but exclusion for many. Risk of over-reliance on technology. One more limitation to consider is the risk of over-reliance on technology. Devices can enhance care, but they cannot replace the compassion, empathy, and human touch of caregivers. A robot may assist with mobility, but it cannot provide the emotional connection of a loved one. Right finger my reflection. CR Expo should be celebrated for its innovations, but we must remember that true rehabilitation is both technical and human. Ethical questions. Finally, there are ethical dilemmas. Who owns the data collected by smart health devices? How do we protect patient privacy in an age of AI-powered monitoring? What happens when companies prioritize profit over patient well-being? Right finger my opinion. CR Expo 2025 pushes us to ask these hard questions. Because technology without ethics risks becoming a source of harm rather than healing. Closing reflection for this section. The challenges facing Crossing Expo 2025 are real and significant. From affordability to access, from stigma to sustainability, from policy to ethics, the road ahead is complex. Right finger my perspective. Acknowledging these challenges does not diminish the Expo's importance. Rather, it highlights the work that remains. CR Expo 2025 is a showcase of what is possible, but it is also a reminder of what is still unfinished. Only by addressing these limitations can we ensure that the innovations celebrated in Beijing truly reach those who need them most. Transition to next section. As we move from challenges to opportunities, our next step will be to explore the future outlook. What role will Crossing Expo play in shaping rehabilitation, care, and social inclusion in the years to come? What pathways lie ahead for global collaboration? Join me as we look into the horizon. Part 8. Future Outlook and Global Significance. As we reach the final chapter of our exploration of Crossing Expo 2025, it is time to look forward. Beyond the exhibitions, the innovations, and the forums, the true significance of this expo lies in the future it helps create. Let us examine how these trends, technologies, and collaborations may reshape the world of rehabilitation, assistive technology, and elderly care in the coming years. The rise of smart and digital assistive devices. One of the clearest trends emerging from Crossing Expo 2025 is the integration of digital technology into assistive devices. From AI-powered prosthetics to smart wheelchairs, from wearable exoskeletons to IoT-enabled home care systems, the devices of tomorrow will not only respond to physical needs but also learn, adapt, and communicate with caregivers and healthcare providers. Right finger my observation. This signals a shift from purely mechanical aids to intelligent solutions, capable of enhancing autonomy, monitoring health, and even predicting potential health issues before they arise. Global collaboration will accelerate progress. Crossing Expo 2025 has underscored the importance of international collaboration. The exchange of technologies, policies, and best practices between China, Japan, Germany, Canada, South Korea, and other nations will accelerate progress. In the future, we may see standardized global assistive technologies compatible across borders. Collaborative research that reduces duplication of effort. Joint training programs for caregivers, therapists, and users worldwide. Right finger my reflection. Rehabilitation and elderly care are global challenges, and events like Crossing Expo demonstrate how collective intelligence can deliver faster, more effective solutions. Focus on aging populations and the silver economy. China's aging population is a driving force behind much of the innovations seen at the Expo. Globally, the silver economy is growing rapidly, creating opportunities for new services, devices, and care models. We are likely to see expansion of home-based care with smart monitoring, robotic companions and AI assistants for elderly individuals living independently, adaptive infrastructure in urban planning, making cities age-friendly and accessible. Right finger my opinion. The silver economy is not just a market, it is a social imperative. The choices made today about elderly care and assistive technology will define quality of life for millions in the coming decades. Bridging the gap between innovation and accessibility. While advanced technology is exciting, accessibility remains a key challenge. Future success depends on ensuring affordable devices for rural and low-income populations, training and support networks to maximize device effectiveness, sustainable supply chains for maintenance and repair. Right finger my observation. CR Expo sets the stage, but the real measure of success will be how widely these solutions reach those who need them most. Policy and regulatory evolution. The future of rehabilitation and elderly care also hinges on policy and regulation. Governments and international bodies will need to provide subsidies or insurance coverage for essential devices, streamline approvals without compromising safety, establish standards for emerging technologies, from eye-driven prosthetics to telehealth systems. Right finger my reflection. Without a supportive policy framework, even the most groundbreaking innovations risk stagnation. CR Expo acts as a catalyst for policymakers, highlighting the needs and solutions that require legislative support. Sustainability and eco-design. Sustainability is becoming increasingly important. Devices of the future must be energy efficient, made from recyclable or eco-friendly materials, designed for longevity with easy repair and maintenance. Right finger my opinion. A sustainable approach ensures that rehabilitation and elderly care solutions are responsible, scalable, and globally viable. CR Expo is already showcasing early examples of eco-conscious design in assistive technology. Personalized and user-centered care. Another emerging trend is personalization. Future devices will be tailored to individual needs, considering physical abilities and limitations, cognitive and sensory requirements, lifestyle, preferences, and cultural context. This user-centered approach will not only improve functionality but also enhance dignity and independence. Right finger my reflection. The expo demonstrates that technology should serve the person, not the other way around. Personalized solutions are the cornerstone of effective rehabilitation and care. Cross-industry collaboration. Crossing Expo 2025 also highlights the potential for cross-industry partnerships. Tech companies, healthcare providers, urban planners, educators, and social service organizations are coming together to create holistic solutions. Examples include smart homes designed for accessibility, public transportation systems integrated with assistive devices, rehabilitation programs that combine medical, technological, and social support. Right finger my observation. This integration creates ecosystems of care, where devices, services, and infrastructure work together to improve quality of life. International expansion and export opportunities. Looking ahead, Chinese companies and international partners are likely to expand exports and collaborations. Affordable, high-quality devices from China may reach emerging markets. European and North American companies may invest in China's innovation ecosystem. Standards and best practices may converge globally, creating more consistent and interoperable solutions. Right finger my reflection. CR Expo 2025 is not just about domestic innovation, it is about shaping the global rehabilitation and elderly care market. The human element remains central. Despite all the technology, one thing remains clear: human connection is irreplaceable. Caregivers, therapists, and families are at the heart of effective rehabilitation. Technology is a tool, not a replacement, for compassion and attention. Events like Crossing Expo remind us that advances in assistive technology exist to serve human needs. Vision for the next decade. As we look to the future, CR Expo 2025 offers a vision for the next decade: widespread adoption of intelligent, user-centered devices, greater social inclusion for persons with disabilities and elderly individuals, integration of care, technology, and policy into a seamless ecosystem, international collaboration and standardization that ensures accessibility globally. Right finger my final observation. The expo is not the end of the journey. It is a launchpad, a glimpse of what is possible when innovation, empathy, and collaboration converge. In conclusion, Care and Rehabilitation Expo China 2025 is more than an exhibition. It is a platform of hope, innovation, and human progress. For manufacturers, policymakers, caregivers, and patients alike, it offers insights, solutions, and inspiration. And most importantly, it reminds us that the ultimate goal of all these innovations, from robotic exoskeletons to smart homes, is simple yet profound: to enhance lives, restore independence, and build a more inclusive society. CR Expo 2025 is not just shaping technology, it is shaping the future of care, rehabilitation, and human dignity worldwide.